Good morning and welcome to Crusher Trading Live. This is your host, Will V, and this is the recap show for Monday, March 17th, 2025. We're going to go over the setups that took place on Friday. We had some really good setups on Meta, over 100% payout. And let's jump into that right now, and then we'll get into some of the setups we have looking for today, okay? Meta was really good right out of the open, a little bit early, but everything set up just perfect. We got to the Crusher zone about 9:35, 9:40. And here it is on the 5-minute. You can see nice clean touches. This is what I liked about it. Bollinger Bands were running horizontal. We're deep outside the Bollinger Bands. And yeah, it was just a really good setup. So where was our entry on this? Our entry was right over here. Take a peek at this now. Kind of got in right here. And then we took our add-on right here. And this was at, let's see, the entry was in at 9:39. And the add-on was at 9:41. So once we're into the trade here, we don't need the 10-second anymore. We just use that for the 10-second setup so we can get into the trade. And then once we're in the trade, we start looking for our scales. Now, this was just another classic A+ setup. Came a lot earlier than expected, like I said, but it was a really good payout. And here you go. We started scaling right here at the 50 on this one here. I tried to hold a little bit longer on this one, but it paid so well that I was trying to take some profits along the way. And like I said, it was up over 100%. And there's a zero line right there. We had a bigger target. A little bit of FOMO. I wish I held on a little bit longer under these. They paid extremely well for Meta. But like I said, I only had, I think I had 12 contracts. I don't remember what it was, something like that. Over $3,000. Well, $3,000 paid over $3,000. So it was over 100%. So on Meta. This is the crush it trade strategy, you guys. He hit the crush it zone again the second time. You can see, and this strategy works every single day on one of the 7 tickers that we watch. We only watch Mag 7. And like I said, we'll get a setup almost every single day on one of these 3 tickers. The key is it's all probability, so you got to pay close attention and take all the trades that do hit the crush it zone if you're going to make this a consistent winning strategy for you. But we did hit the crush it zone again. And let's see if we do get a setup down here. And once again, we do get a little bit of a setup here. You get your entry right in here at about 10:03. I'll mark this out. So here's your entry. We get lift off right in here. There's your second entry. And we did let's see here, a good $4 payout on Meta. So once again, a really good crush it trade setup. 2 of them on Meta on Friday. Paid extremely well. What am I looking for today on Meta? Well, pretty much the same thing. I'll probably relax. Just check out a crush it zone trade. I do get a buy now signal from the 1 hour. So we'll see if that wants to continue to the upside. But I'll be looking at a target area on Meta if we can get in. Somewhere's up here on this previous high a day from a couple days ago. And this is sitting at about 633.20. And my break and retest to the upside. Hopefully the crush it zone will line up with this area right here, but we're looking at somewhere's in here. And we'll see how that lines up with the crush it zone. I'll apply that. There we go. So basically, yeah, this is it. So I'd be looking for some kind of move to the upside here. Test. If we get up here, we might get a second entry to the downside. We'll see where the crush it zones line up here on Meta, but that's kind of what I'm looking for on Meta. Just a real basic, simple CIZ strategy. Nothing big, you know. Don't have any really big key levels I'm trying to find here on Meta. So let's go to Apple, see how Apple turned out on Friday. We didn't really have anything going on in Apple. No crush it zone trades. For me, it was a pretty sideways trading day, so nothing there on Apple. Going into today, do I see anything good on Apple? Well, not really. Nothing too exciting. Let's see if we can get any signals on here, which I don't. On the daily. Well, this is the 1 hour too. Let's get this on the daily right here. There we go. So, yeah, we are showing some possible continuation of the downside here on Apple. Key levels, if we can get down there, probably the next key level that I see over here is kind of right in here. Got some support So we'll keep an eye on this level here. We'll copy this onto the page. We'll apply that, and we'll look at that level to see if we get anything off of Apple today. Not on the main watch, but if we get stuck and looking for something to trade, we can check that out. AMD. AMD is showing a little bit of strength here also this morning. We did have a nice signal a couple days ago to the upside. AMD did have a Crusher Zone trade on Friday at 12:55, a little bit after we're at my desk, so I didn't see it. But you can see everything set up just perfect. Another perfect A+ setup. Look for your 10-second setup. And you have a entry right in here. And then you have your lift off there for a second entry. And you do get a nice move off the Crusher Zone down to the 0 line, which is worth about $1 on AMD. Not bad. All right. AMD, just looking for continuation of the upside. Once again, put in some bounce areas here. We see if we get some kind of bounce right in this area right here off of AMD today if it does want to go. And actually, I like this area right in here. There it is right there. And then also looking at this high, if we do get something to go higher, I'd want to see some kind of retesting in here. I think price is going to get back to the 360. It's 360 magnet. And so I'm expecting AMD to do something like this today for a move to the downside. So we'll see how that plays out. Amazon. Let's see here. Amazon, once again, is also showing a little bit of a bullish move here. We did have a Crusher Zone trade right here. Here it is, bottom left-hand corner. Took place at about 10:10. I was already done and gone in Meta at that point. But you can see we also have a break and retest of the 50 SMA. So we break it here. And once we break that, we get this moved into the Crusher Zone right in here. And then we get a little bit of a retest. It doesn't continue too far down, but it does get down to the Crusher Zone. And so if you come over to the 10-second, once again, you know what we're looking for. Our 10-second setup gives us nice clean entries at these Crusher Zones. And we do get a little bit of lift off in here. So what do we got here? So if we're in this trade, we're going to get in somewhere in here. And we have lift off right in here. It looks like it's going to retest, but it doesn't. It goes through. But you're probably already going to be in the trade full size at this point. And at this point, try not to pay attention to the 10-second. It'll shake you out. You're going to have to hold through that. Learn how to hold through some of these consolidations at the Crusher Zone. So we do have the entry. You just have to hold through right here. And then finally, we do break. And then you get your scales out and right here. So depending on how many contracts you have. So that is Amazon. Going into today, Amazon, like I said, I'm just looking for probably a push at least to the previous high a day from a couple days ago. We'll be looking at that 202.40 level. And then I have a level right in here. Also, see if we get some kind of bounce at the open. So what I'd be looking for here is continuation of the upside possibly. And we'd be looking maybe for a Crusher Zone in here. So if this comes down like this and we get a move to the upside, something like that on Amazon. All right. That's Amazon. Microsoft. Microsoft is showing us some possible sell signals today. We'll see if that wants to head to the downside. It just crossed the 360 in the daily. It is moving down. We do have some other key levels in here, which I wanted to mark out, kind of right in here. Looking for a add to my retirement position here on Microsoft. So we'll see if we get down to what is that level there? 367, 366. Do have another level here. We'll see how this plays out. I'm going to copy this on the charts for the day. And there it is. So once again, I think we're coming off the Crusher Zone here on the hourly. And I'll be looking for this break, retest, and a move to the downside to at least previous day lows. That is going to give us what kind of movement here? You know, if we get this is a good $6 move on $6 move on Microsoft to the downside. Okay, let's watch the crush at zone levels and make sure we hit those so we can get that move to the downside. Friday, we did have a crush at zone trade at 11 o'clock, a little bit later than I like to see. If you would have taken this one at 11, you probably would have gotten stopped out. Let's see, what time was this? 11, I said. So here's 11 o'clock right here. You do get your entry right in here. Mark this out for you. Here's kind of your entry spot. Here's your retest. So you're going in full size right here. And then you can see we only get down barely to the 0.618 before it decides to move back up again. So, if you'd gotten into this trade, you might have gotten a little lucky and gotten somewhat of a scale right in here at the close to the 0.618. Didn't touch it, but you got a close touch there. So you might have gotten one scale, but it would have eventually stopped you out on Microsoft. NVIDIA. Let's see what we got here on NVIDIA. Let me get rid of these lines right here. NVIDIA also crushed its own trade. This one actually worked out pretty good yesterday or on Friday. This was at 11:40. You can see on the 5-minute we have a nice move to the upside here. And here it is on the 1. So we'll check out our scales here in just a second. But what we'll do is we'll come over to the 10-second, get our 10-second setup set up here. And we get a entry right in here. And then you get your add kind of in here. It doesn't really get a retest on the 50, but that's all right. We do get that lift off, so you should be full size here in the middle of the crush it zone. And this here, if you're full size in here, by the time you get into the 9-day, we have let's see how big this move is on NVIDIA. So right in here, you got about a $1.32 move on NVIDIA to the downside. So that was NVIDIA. Going into today, NVIDIA looking a little bullish, a lot bullish. I do got some great buy signals from a few days ago, and those buy signals are turning out really well. And we have a move up to the 360. So I'll be looking at the 360 also on NVIDIA today. See if we get some kind of bounce to the other side, or if we get above it, I'll look for a retest right in there. But that's pretty simple on NVIDIA, and this should line up really good with the crush it zones. So we should have, if we're going to get a good play on NVIDIA, we'll definitely be able to see this one here today. But we're just going to make sure everything lines up perfectly. All right, same thing with Meta, which I just went over again. Just waiting for these key levels for that move to the upside. And I think once again, we're going to get a good target up to the 360. I don't know if they'll get there today, but we do have a nice short swing possibly for 2 days on Meta. Okay. Tesla. Tesla kind of hits the crush it zone in here. It consolidates. Maybe call this more of an 84%er. You can see we break down below the 50. A little bit of a retest in here. Move to the downside. Tesla here does consolidate quite a bit. If you're looking for an entry on here, if you'd have gotten in possibly, in this area here, let me change the color of this real quick. You could have got in here, and if you would have taken another starter position there, you would have freaked out a little bit, as I call the freak out zone, because it didn't move as quick as you wanted it to. And you can see later on, you finally do get that move to the upside. And what we're looking for is these clean touches. Okay, here's the clean touches I'm looking for right there on Tesla for that move to the upside. Okay, so excuse me. So if you did get in early, you'd have held through all of this consolidation. Like I said, a little bit of a freak out zone, but it did end up turning out. You got a decent run to the upside on Tesla. I wouldn't be afraid to hang on to this one or bypass it a little bit here. I mean, it does look a little messy in here. You do get that setup, but it does look a little messy. I do like the fact that we get in here and it gets above the moving average in here, which gives us a little bit more confidence for that move to the upside. Moving into today on Tesla, I think we got some continuation of the downside possibly, but we'll see how this one works out. Here's the 1 hour. Looking for a break of previous day lows. Also checking out this level we have right in here. So I want to stay below this level if we're going to go any lower on Tesla. And then we also have this level right in here. So we would look to see how this plays out right before the market open. See how the crusher zone lines up in here, looking for some kind of break and retest the downside, or if it wants to pop up and give us a pop to the upside, we will take it as long as we're moving with the markets and we have our crusher zones. Okay, so that is Tesla. And then let's look at MSTR. Definitely got some sell signals on this one here from Friday. I wouldn't use these for today, you guys. Those are from last Friday. So let's just focus in on today and see what it has offers. I know we're at the 360. See if we do want to move higher, but I think we might take a little bit of a step back, possibly according to the technicals on MSTR. We'll see how that plays out. If we get a crusher zone trade, there is a possibility I might take MSTR today. It's just looking like we want to move to the downside even more. So, all right. And if I do, what I'm looking for here, here's my key areas right here. Right here. And we'll look at the top of this one also. So we get above, we're probably going to have a nice move to the upside. And then I'll be targeting right here at the 321 level on MSTR. If we stay down, I'm going to look for this retest right here. If I can get this up here to the downside like this. And my target is most likely going to be kind of somewhere in previous day lows right here. So that's what I have, you guys. We have the market open in about 25 minutes or so. If you have any questions, let me know, and we can go through the charts here. But otherwise, we'll see you guys here in about 25